G'day everyone, how's it going? It's me, your mate Cascade, and I am bringing you another video about Gemcraft, Chasing Shadows. This time, I'm going to be showing off the WGemCombiner. Now, just to be clear, I am using the Steam version of Gemcraft Chasing Shadows. Technically, you could use pretty much any version of Gemcraft Chasing Shadows, because this thing sort of just grabs the window and then adjusts to it. It's basically a glorified auto clicker, this Gem Combiner program, by the way, something you can actually download. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description below, but honestly, you could just go ahead and Google search WGemCombiner, all one word without spaces, and when you hit enter, you'll be able to find a place to be able to download this for free. What does this do? This thing helps you go ahead and do super gemming. Now, just to be clear, I'm using the Steam version 1.0.6 of Gemcraft Chasing Shadows, and I'm using Gem Combiner version 1.2.0. It doesn't actually, oh yeah, it does show on the stream. Perfect. Okay, now let's go ahead and see how we can best use this, because I have been messing around with it a little bit, and I think after reading a little bit of the guides as well, I got a fairly good handle on how it works and how you can best utilize it. Now, firstly, go ahead and find a field of your choice. Oh, I really should get a better laptop. This one gets a little choppy. It's not a gaming laptop, obviously, but still, thankfully, because this game's getting on now, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can still play this game. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to find a good... This one's pretty good, actually. Or is it? No, too many entrances. What you want, ideally when you try and do an endurance run, you want a field that has more or less just one track with one entrance from any of the edges. This one's got four, so it's terrible. Yeah, just one entrance, the ability to make a whole path one way, preferably a nice wide path, so you've got plenty of room to put things like amplifiers and stuff around all of your gems. Oh my goodness, 6 entrances there. That's terrible. That one's amazing, but I've already gone ahead and got a pretty decent score on that one, so let's not abuse that again. Let's see. There's one entrance here, but it's not the greatest for gems. I'm pretty sure that one's pretty average. Yeah, ideally you want to go ahead and find a field, as I said before, one path, so that way you can sort of minimize the number of overall monsters you have on the screen, which minimizes the lag. Honestly, it's more of a time factor thing. But if you've got a superduper computer, then you could probably do this on just about any field. Let's see. I mean, I could be funny and just go ahead and do F1. I really could, you know. Um, but should I? Ideally, what you also want is a field that not only has just one path, nice and wide, potentially like this one, but also a field that has, like that, see all those blue squares? Lots and lots of mana shards, so you can go ahead and get lots and lots of mana really quickly, really early on in the game. Although, having said that, it's not really that much of an issue, but this looks like it's potentially a go. I wonder how many of these monster nests are indestructible. Hopefully just this one at the very middle of the left-hand side is indestructible and the other two can be destroyed, potentially. I don't know. Tell you what, let's try this one. By memory, there are lots of trees though, and it's not a very amplifier-friendly track. R4, you know what? Let's just do it. This is just a demonstration video anyway. Haunting, let's, yep, crank that up to the maximum. That as well. Corrupted banishment, yeah, sure. We don't intend on banishing anything. So that and the orblets straight up. Let's make monsters. Something like that. Because I'm not brave enough to go ahead. I don't think I'm strong enough to take on all of this maxed out yet. I haven't played this particular saved game on this game a lot. I had a much better save on my Gemcraft Chasing Shadows in Armor Games. Hey, you remember that site? Swarmling Domination, no, we don't want any of that. Haste, yeah, sure, why not? And Chasing Shadows, sure, absolutely. All right, now that I've done that, let's go ahead and demonstrate the Gem Combiner. Please be destructible. Yes, yes. All right, perfect. And I wonder what this looks like. Oh, it looks pretty good, actually. So I could probably slap a tower here, and that should reach just about everything. Or I could slap a tower here. Nah, I can't fit that many amplifiers around it. Let's try here. Okay, I've decided. Let's do this. And hopefully we can get things going nice and fast. Now, what I'll do is I'll just sort of clear all of this rubbish and get at least one or two of those, the time delays that, makes you have to wait like 6 or 7 waves to go by. I'll go ahead and get that set up so that I can actually properly demonstrate what this thing does. So I'll pause the video and see you in a second. And I'm back. Okay, things are looking a little bit better as usual. We've gone ahead and put walls everywhere to stop all of those beacons from spawning. And I put nothing special, nothing to do with super gemming or using the gem combiner or anything like that. I just made myself a little kill gem with a little bit of mana, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red for some chain hit, a little bit of bloodbound, and I also made myself honestly, this is a horrible, but it does the job. Just a little bit of a mana farm, just so I can get, an initial amount of mana, because I need some mana to go ahead and show you how to properly use this thing. So, before we go ahead and look into using this thing, let's actually talk about programs like the Gem Combiner and super gemming in general, because it seems to be a bit of a controversial topic. Some people think that this is cheating. Now, I suppose that depends on your perspective. I don't think it's cheating at all, to be honest. Um, and the reason why is because of the following. If you look here, you've got like, all these things. I'll explain all of these in a minute. But let's say I wanted to make a mana gem. Okay. Now, these people who created this program, they are some very clever people who have gone ahead, and I think they've brute force gone ahead and done calculations on how to best super gem and combine using these 3 colors to give you the best outputs with like a coefficient rating for growth or something, which is here on this side in the middle. What you've got here is the cost of the initial gems, and you would use the same grade. It doesn't have to be grade 1 gems. It could be any grade gem, so long as the 3 gems you use for your orange, black, and red are the same. This is the amount of cost that it would be for that grade gem. So that's something you can use to calculate whether or not you can afford to do it. And this is the growth. This is the number of steps that it needs to take in order to achieve that. And of course, if you say select this, these are the steps. Yeah, I know, it looks a bit ridiculous. Lots of O's and 2's, and there's probably a lot of B's in there as well. Yep, eventually B for black, O for orange. Tucked in away here somewhere is probably 1 or 2 R's for red. As you know, they don't like red much. You hardly need any red, actually, to be honest, to make the most efficient gem possible. This is like, at least within, you know, this many steps and so forth, it's been calculated that this, at a cost of 2048 times the cost of the grade gem that you will have down here, this is the formula that you would follow. So what you would do is you would go ahead and essentially say 2 oranges combined with an orange, and then whatever that gem is, combine it with another orange, and then combine it with another orange, and then combine it with another orange, etc. and so forth. And then once you get here, and then you would add, or you would combine that with a 2 orange that has been combined with an orange, and then you would combine that with another 2 orange that's combined with an orange, etc., so on and so forth. That's basically how you read and apply this whole formula. It's ridiculously complex, but technically you could actually do all of this if the steps were laid out, well, somewhat a little bit more human readable. You could follow this and you could do this manually. So just to show you what I mean, let's see what's going on here. So start out with an orange, a black, and a red gem, as it asks. It treats this particular grid space in here as A1, 2, and 3, and so forth. And it's saying, okay, go ahead and get a 2 orange. So what I'm going to do is a grade 2 orange. So there we go. And then I'm going to combine it with an orange. Then I'm going to combine it with whatever this is with yet another single orange, which is basically the grade of gem, not the 2 grade of gem. That's what that means. And then I'm going to do it again. Let's see, how many times do I do this? So I've already done it twice. Oh, I changed the 2 to a D. Whoops, let's just change that back. So 2 orange and an orange. How many times have I done it? Let's see, what's the cost? Oh, I keep doing that. Got to check where I'm keeping my focus. Okay, so if we do this, 140, 308. Okay, so I've done it twice. So this has been combined with a few. So I do this, this, and this. So I'd combine, 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 combine. One more. I think combine, and then I would move this aside for a moment. I'd make another 2O, combine it with an O, and then I would combine these two together to make a 3. Okay, so I've just done what is essentially all of this from here to, oh, won't let me select. Okay, it's not great for selecting, but basically I've done all of this so far. And then I would just continue because now I have to combine whatever this is, which is the result of what I've highlighted, with 2O, another 2O and O. So yeah, I gotta stop doing that. Select essentially this and then combine this with it, etc., so on and so forth. So just, this is, I'm not going to go through anything further on this, okay? I'm just proving to you that this is what all of this represents. It doesn't represent what in my mind is cheating, but because in my mind, cheating is doing, and this is just based on my experiences from games that have stemmed way back to when I was playing Sega Master System games back in the mid to late 80s. Cheating is when you do something that alters the game in a way that you cannot actually replicate otherwise through normal gameplay, like entering in a cheat code or something. An obvious example would be if you were playing an old game like Doom or Doom 2, if you type in some of those cheat code key sequences like IDKFA at any point in time during the game, all of a sudden you would be graced with all of the weapons, maxed out ammo, all of the keys. Same thing with IDDQT, or no, IDDQD by memory gives you God mode. Now, technically, you can get God mode by getting invulnerability spheres, but this enabled you to get it whenever you wanted, and it didn't run out unless you typed in the same cheat code again. It acted like a toggle. Okay, that in my mind is a cheat. This, however, is not a cheat because basically what you're doing is you're following a recipe, which, by the way, is technically, it's all public knowledge, all of this. Being able to calculate this, if you actually spent the time to go ahead and analyze the game, analyze the way it grows gems, analyze the way that super gemming works in this particular game, Gemcraft Chasing Shadows. You got the formulas down pat. you went ahead and created a program or did something in Excel or whatever it is, and you cleverly did what you needed to do to sort of brute force come up with all of these different combinations and see how is best to make these combinations and what steps are to be taken with these three colors and in what quantities and so forth to actually make it happen. You could actually do this. It would take forever. I kid you not. What are we looking at here? 326 steps. I mean, just in my little demonstration that took me a while, I did what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, essentially 12 or 13 steps out of 326. So, yes, you can technically do this by yourself without the tool. The information is there, and as far as I'm concerned, that's super gemming, which is actually a feature of this game. It's part of the game code. It's what the game creator has embedded into this game. It wasn't their intention to make super gemming a major thing, but this program essentially lets you go ahead and do all of that super gemming by saying, hey, instead of you going through and following all of these 326 steps, probably stuffing it up somewhere along the line because there's just so many of them, we're going to help you out. All you need to do is realize that this is an auto clicker and we've done all of the hard calculations for you. You don't even have to do anything other than do what we say. And what do we say at the start? We say 1A, which is the slot, by the way. It means row 1, column A. Now it's kind of a bit backwards. Okay, this is column A, the rightmost, column B, and column C is the leftmost column in the grid. It's saying all you have to do is put an orange in 1A, a black in 1B, and a red in 1C. Go ahead and select what it is that you want to do. Make sure that you've got enough mana to actually cover that. In this case, I definitely do. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and hover your mouse over A1, so here, and then hit the hotkey. Now I've selected number 9 because I believe it's not hotkey for anything else, including anything for my recording software. Oh, and also create a delay. Now, delays are good. This is milliseconds, by the way, so every 0.15 seconds, it will go ahead and do a step for me. And it's calculated that the ETA to complete all of these 326 steps is 38 seconds. What happens when I go ahead and hit 9 while hovering over this is I can let the mouse go. It doesn't matter where your mouse is, by the way. It's just saying when you hit 9, you're telling the program, this is where you need to start. And then what the auto clicker will do is it will take the mouse position on the entire screen, X and Y axes, and then it will say, okay, we're going to ignore the mouse. What we're going to do is we're just going to send every, in this instance, 0.15 seconds, we're going to go ahead and have this pre-programmed thing go ahead and do all of the steps that we need it to do to go ahead and create this gem by literally saying, okay, click here, and then click here, and then click there, which is where the combine is, or hit the G key. Or what it does is it doesn't actually use your mouse, it simulates what your mouse is calling. Think of it as like this. This is getting a little technical. I'll keep it short, I promise. Your mouse sends a signal whenever you click it or whenever you move it. It's sending signals either through the wire or wirelessly to the computer to say, hey, I'm doing this. Then the computer's operating system receives those messages and it says, okay, the mouse has done this. I know that when the mouse does this, I'm supposed to move this cursor thing this much and stuff like that. Okay, think of it as like this. The auto clicker will instead go ahead and it doesn't just auto click, it also technically sends key presses as well. It simulates what your mouse and your keyboard would do if you were going ahead and doing all of these stuff all over the grid to make this gem. Let me demonstrate. I'm just going to hover over 1A, and I'm going to press the 9 key, and I hope the delay is long enough. If you've got lots and lots of monsters on the screen, I don't. There's a 400's nothing. The game's running smoothly, so this delay is reasonable. If your game is running laggy, then you might want to set this delay to something longer, like, 250, 350, or even 500 milliseconds, just to make sure that it doesn't accidentally skip steps, because it doesn't bank up or buffer clicks and so forth, the auto clicker and whatever, and it can stuff up. But anyway, 159, let's just demonstrate what it does. Well, it actually helps to select the game before actually hitting the 9. Here we go. Hello, is this thing working? Am I pressing the right key? Combine. The hell is this thing doing? Ah, okay, for some reason it kind of struggled to do it, but here we go. So it's programmed to go ahead and do all of this stuff, and it keeps in mind where there are grid spaces that it hasn't used yet. And when it's creating gems and, you know, leaving other gems in the grid, it will remember where they are, and it will just go ahead and use what it needs. And it assumes that you have all of these grid spaces clear. So when you do use this auto clicker, make sure you've got the grid clear. But basically, that's what happens. It goes ahead and does all of this shuffling and gem combining and moving around and all of this stuff until it runs out of time and it finally does this. It's not too bad, hey. So what do we have now? By the way, just to round off what I was saying before, the auto clicker, what it does is it says, okay, instead of going ahead and interacting with the mouse or whatever, I'm just going to tell the operating system, hey, guess what? The mouse clicked here. And then, hey, guess what? The G key was pressed here. It's got nothing to do with the mouse and nothing to do with the keyboard. It's just sending a pretend signal to the operating system to say, this is happening, then this is happening, and this is happening. And it does that every 150 milliseconds. That's all it does. Okay? And when I say that's all, I'm saying, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not downplaying the complexity of this program and what was put into it. Trust me, this was a bit of an effort to make this thing and also go ahead and get these recipes made. Okay, it's pretty amazing. And the fact that it's free is really good. Hats off to the people who made this gem combiner. Honestly, it makes life a lot easier. So now you're asking yourself, what have I got here? I've got this grade 11 gem, but if you look at the cost, the upgrade cost, it's a lot more than it should be. Let me go ahead and create just another random grade 11 gem. So the cost is exactly double. Why? Well, the answer is because you just did some super gemming, or I just did some super gemming. So what does super gemming do? Super gemming takes advantage of an aspect of the game whereby instead of going ahead and just hitting the U key on your gems and upgrading them all the time, what you do is a little bit of a shuffle of what I showed you before. It's sort of like taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the most basic version of super gemming. What I'm going to do, actually, I think it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so think of it like this. See these orange gems here? If you count it up, this is 8 times grade 1 gems. Yeah, we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to combine a grade 1 into this, a grade 1 into this, a grade 1 into this, grade 1 into this, and then this grade 2 into this. Now I'm pretty sure the order of which gem gets combined and moved into the other gem shouldn't matter. It did matter in the first game, and I think it mattered a little in the second game as well, Gemcraft Chapter 0. But ever since the Labyrinth, I think it's been changed the code so that when you combine gems, doesn't matter which one combines into the other, it should always have the same output. Don't quote me though. If anyone actually knows whether or not that's still a thing in Chasing Shadows or Labyrinth, or even Frostborn Wrath, let me know. I'd be interested to know. But anyway, this is now a super gem. It's a grade 3, but technically speaking, a grade 4 gem has 4 grade 1 gems worth of stuff in it. So if you look at the cost, this grade 3 gem costs the same as this grade 4 gem. Now, obviously, the grade 4 gem should be stronger, and yes, it does more damage, and it has more shots per second, but look at the special. Because really, when you're creating mana gems, and also even when you're creating kill gems, the raw damage isn't really anywhere near as important, usually, sort of. Not as important as the multipliers for the type of gem. So, same amount of mana put into this gem, but this leeches 13.84 mana per hit, and this leeches 14.55 mana per hit. When it comes to especially things like mana farms where damage doesn't matter and shots per second can eventually be reached to a maximum that is actually coded into the game to stop the game from pretty much literally freezing from just making way too many calls to try and make hits from one gem to like a million monsters, then this is what you want. You want the thing that gives you more mana. And it's not just for the mana leeching component. This is for every single component. This is for Bloodbound. This is for Chain Hit. And this is also for Critical Hit. And, well, technically it's for these others, but no one really cares about these. You might use the Slowing Gem with the Chain Hit Gem and the Bloodbound Gem just to make some gems that slow monsters to 90% less, maybe, if you really want to make your mana farm and so forth a lot more effective. But really, it's super gemming or gem weaving, as it's called, whichever name it is that you want to use, is a very powerful way of making gems that are amazing, especially for mana farms. So let's get rid of those. Is this the same cost as a 12? It probably should be. Yeah, 157,696. There you go. Now, what is this made up of? Well, strangely enough, very little red. In fact, I think the red component in this is so small that if we were any smaller, it would probably just disappear off this pane because it would be insignificant in comparison to the amount of leeching and bloodbound. Don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly confident. Let's see. Around halfway, you start to see a lot more B's and less O's. Okay, so there's quite a lot of black in this. A little bit more orange than there is black, and there's hardly any red. You'd be hard pressed to find wherever there is an R in this somewhere, maybe near the end. R's, where's the R's? I have no idea where the R is, but okay, fair enough, whatever. This is the result. So now I've gone ahead and made a gem, or at least I've made this the start of what will be an amazing gem for my mana farm. Okay, and this program is amazing in that it will give you the ability to do the same thing for a kill gem. Now, note that because the components work a little bit differently, basically because you got yellow instead of orange, and it works a little bit differently, especially since it's got a maximum percentage of amount of time it hits. These recipes are ever so slightly different, I think. Yeah, because by memory, this should have more black in it than it does yellow. Yeah, I know, right? Go figure. Who knew? But and also again, it's got very little red. But that's apparently what was calculated to be the most powerful possible gem for like what you could call the base gem for your killing gem. Call it the seed gem. It's got the best growth. Actually, this has got the best growth. Look at this. It's got the same amount of steps, but it costs a little bit less and it's a little bit more potent. I'm telling you, these people, they went ahead and they definitely did go through all of the different combinations and growths very comprehensively up to a certain point. What you'll notice in this little drop down box, and this is for all of these different types of gems that you can make, you'll notice that some of these numbers here, the costs have a star next to them. These stars just represent what you would normally do as the best for if you wanted to do a growth that would cost something that is equal to 2 to the power of something. So this is 2 to the power 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay? But there's also some other ones that don't have an asterisk next to them. Not all of these have this, by the way. I think the Omana doesn't have any extra special ones. No, it doesn't. So basically, you pick the bottom one because it's got the best growth rate in terms of component power. But yeah, kill gems, some of these, they're just better because they cost a little bit less. Their growth rate is a little bit more for, its local grouping area. And because of that, they just went ahead and put these in. So technically, your best bet is to use a seed gem using this particular one for your yellow gem. In fact, let's go ahead and do that now. Let's just shove that up there and out of the way. Let's hope it doesn't get in the way. Yellow, black, and red. Let's go ahead and hit the magic button. And you know what? Just for fun, let's make another one using the formula that would actually go ahead and be a little bit more expensive and a little bit less effective and see whether or not that holds true. Now, by the way, when they did these recipes, they didn't take into account, or they did take into account and probably realized that it didn't matter about how many kills a gem might have. Like that doesn't really affect the component effectiveness. We're talking about base component effectiveness. So depending on, this is assuming that this gem and any other gem that's supposed to be comparable to it both have the same amount of hits, therefore the same amount of bloodbound going for them, that sort of thing. Okay, let's go. We've got that. Let's select this. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a play because I'm actually genuinely curious. I just took it on blind faith that the other one is just better because it's got a better growth number. But eventually, after we go ahead and have a look at this and determine that yes, indeed, those other formulas without the star are generally better, then I'll go ahead and talk about what this gem combiner actually does go ahead and give you, and then how best to use it. 8 seconds left. See, it's not too bad. It's pretty fast. I mean, if you have a really fast computer, you could probably set the delay to like 50 or even 20 milliseconds. But if you don't have a super fast computer with an amazing graphics card, like I do, then, or like I don't, I should say, then keep the delay number a little higher. So that way you're guaranteed not to miss steps. A dead giveaway about you missing steps is if you do your gem combine, it finishes, but there's random gems all over the place in this grid. Even if there's just one, that means it skipped a step and you went too fast and you should increase the number in your delay. Now, I've just made 2 gems. Technically, this one should be cheaper, and it is. And technically, this one should also be stronger. Now, remember that the black component is supposed to be stronger. It's kind of difficult to see, but because the numbers are so similar, remember this is supposed to be a growth rate per cost. So this is a base growth rate per, shall we say, single like grade 1 gem, if we use grade 1 gems to go ahead and combine these. So even though they look similar, and technically this one's got a little bit more yellow damage than it does on this one, which is the cheaper but supposedly better gem, because the cost is 153 and this one's 157, it kind of works out still slightly better for cost overall. And I'm guessing because the Bloodbound, the difference is so small, it's not even coming through right now. In fact, honestly, we'd have to upgrade these a lot more to get the most out of them. But I'm going to keep this one anyway. We'll trash this one, the more expensive one. See you later. And these are my 2 seed gems. Now, what do I mean by seed gems? This game, or sorry, this gem combiner assumes that you're going to be playing endurance, which means you're going to have a lot of time, which means you're going to get to a point where you can create gems that are incredibly high graded and incredibly powerful. Now, you're going to have to take my word for it because I'm not sure I'll be able to demonstrate it at, within a reasonable amount of time, but when you go ahead and play a game and you don't do any super gemming at all, whether it's just by your own hand or by, using this program, if you don't do any super gemming or gem weaving at all, then you will be able to reach in your endurance be able to make a grade something gem. Let's say something like grade, I don't know, if you've got wizard level in this game about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8,000. I think I had 9,000 on my Armor Games version. You'd be able to create a gem which is about all up about grade 62, 63, I think, which is also a combination of the same colors. Mana Farm would be orange, red, black. Kill gems would be red, yellow, and black. Two of them, one for killing all of your special monsters and one for killing normal monsters, and also taking out any beacons and whatnot. That's about as high as you would get before you start getting to a point where you're not really able to grow your mana capture enough to keep up, and also at the point where all the monsters are actually becoming a little bit too strong for you to handle. Okay, that's around about what I used to achieve, and then I kind of just died. Now, of course, with gem weaving, you can't really use grades of gems that you reach to be able to compare because, as you just saw, this gem is the same cost as a grade 12 gem. And you know what? That difference, it kind of grows a little, sort of. Not really. Actually, technically, it doesn't. But as you go through the higher grades, you'll notice that the grade difference becomes higher just because of the natural growth of gems being combined or super gemmed. So instead, the best measure is actually the amount of power or the amount of damage that you could do with a gem right before the best you can do before you start to lose, essentially. Where you can't really keep on growing this thing because the mana gains from the mana farm aren't really getting there. It's taking a long time to reach that next goal of upgrading your kill gem. Now, without super gemming, I remember I used to be able to get to, damage, which after you went ahead and calculated, the yellow component and the black component and all of that stuff and the raw damage output, and also for ease of calculations, pretending that the 80% chance to deal damage in the yellow component, let's just pretend that was 100%, just because it makes the calculations easier. And if you apply that to every gem you go ahead and calculate for, it it doesn't make a difference, it's still kind of the same ratio, then I think the overall damage. Oh, and by the way, I was paying attention to the upper bound of your damage that your gem can output, not the lower bound. I think E to the 21 or 20 or 22 was achievable without gem weaving or super gemming. Okay? I'll just call it super gemming because it's the same thing. Now, with super gemming, I did a run not on that old account, but on this account, which has a wizard level that's much lower. I think the wizard level was what? Around 4,000 or something like that. So only about as half as good as it could be. And I played a game of this on this, not this field, but another field. And I was able to reach an output, a maximum output. This is before I was even in endurance mode. So this is about something like 127 waves in or something like that. I was already able to output damage from my main kill gem, which I wasn't even upgrading or paying attention to that much because I was more paying attention to and upgrading and seeking more of my mana into my mana farm, which was still growing strong. I was able to make E to the 26 or E to the 27 damage with my kill gem. That's the difference between super gemming and non-super gemming. Without super gemming, you're kind of hamstringing yourself. It's not the worst thing in the world. This game is very beatable without doing super gemming, okay? So if you really think that it, or you really feel like this is cheating, then it's fine. Go ahead. Don't use it. Go ahead and just upgrade using the U key all the time. The game is still very playable, and you'll still be able to make, with the right strategies, obscene amounts of wizard levels and get obscene amounts of skill points to sink into all of your stuff and basically cakewalk through just about every single field. However, having said that, if you get to a point where you still enjoy the game and you've beaten most of it, but you still want to make more gains, you still want to go ahead and basically be the best that you can be, then super gemming is just one of those things that you need to add to your strategy to go ahead and dominate. So, if you're going to super gem, you can go ahead and do it the manual way. Like for example, the simple thing to do is something like this. It's a very simple formula that takes, I mean, this says one step, but one, two, three, four, five. It's got 6 steps in it. Okay. Actually, I think there's more steps. I don't think this column represents steps as a number. I think I honestly don't know what it is. But anyway, let's ignore that. Does this say how many? Yes, it does. It's all the information's right here. So cost is 8 times. You'll end up with a gem that is 2 grades higher than the initial gems that you feed it. So, let's say for argument's sake, just to demonstrate, I could put in a grade 2 yellow, a grade 2 black, and a grade 2 red in these 3, and then hit the combine button. I would end up with a gem that's 2 grades higher, so it would be a grade 4 gem. It would cost 8 times the cost of a grade 2 gem. Its coefficient of growth would be 0.219772, which I'm guessing is better than just upgrading for the same cost. Its power would be this much more. The slots it needs to actually perform this is just 4. I don't know if that's 4 extra or 4 total. Let's just assume 4 extra. In fact, you know what? Let's ditch these. Let's go ahead and observe this. Let's see what happens. 9. Yeah, it's 4 total. That's all. And it has 11 steps to do. Now, you could go ahead and look up these formulas, and instead of using this tool, go ahead and do it yourself manually. But if you really want to get the big gains and you want to do it without having your game literally take you days and days to do, just get this gem combiner. It's amazing. It's great. It does the job perfectly. It's very flexible. And consider it, especially considering you can manually set your delay yourself. I mean, it'd be nice if it could automatically detect when the game is ready to accept the next input, but given that would actually have to interface with the game itself and so forth to try and detect whether or not it's ready and whether or not it's, it's quiet, it's finished doing all of its processing with the change that's happened. That's not going to happen. So instead, they input this. But hey, I think it's a very flexible program. It's brilliant. It's these people have gone through and they've done all of these formulas. So yeah, once again, hats off to the authors. It's great, and I highly recommend you using this if you want to just go ahead and push yourself in this game just that little bit further to the absolute limit. This is kind of one of the last things that you can do. It doesn't have to be the last thing you can do. You can super gem straight off the bat if you really want, if you're patient enough. At the lower wizard levels, you're not going to have a lot of mana to play with, so you are going to be doing it probably by hand, and you're probably only going to be doing formulas like this, or at best formulas like this that have 24 steps in them. But yeah, once you start to get your wizard levels up and you can get mana that's sort of in the realm of this within the first, 25 to 30 odd waves, then yeah, just get this auto clicker, select the best possible, and go nuts. Now, there is one more thing I need to explain for those of you who do want to use the Gem Combiner. If you don't, thank you for watching the video. I bid you adieu, and I hope you enjoy playing or continuing to play your Gemcrafts, whichever version it is. But for those of you who are interested in this, I'm going to explain to you a few things, because these people who created this assume that you are playing in this type of style. Oh, and by the way, all of these are the step-by-step instructions for going ahead and doing this. Okay, and this is kind of like a formula that you can tweak and update and whatever yourself, but don't. Just leave it. Let it go ahead and populate from these pre-selected ones. This game assumes that you are going to do endurance, most likely. You are going to get very high gem grades. You are going to be using amplify. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, it's late. You are going to be using amplifiers, and also you're going to be using black gems that are kind of seed gems. GS amplifiers. No, you don't want that. GS spec, black yellow hit farm. Oh yeah, that's also a thing as well. Basically, it assumes that you're going to also put in a whole bunch of gems that are just black at the start of your path so that they can gradually just bring up hits. So once you're ready to go ahead and rock out with your biggest, best, strongest, baddest gems, you can go ahead and at the last moment combine in all of these other black gems that have been just gathering hits all this time and doing nothing else. No killing, just gathering hits and upping the amount of, the black component that's part of them. And you can just mash those in with your powerful gems in your mana farm, and more to the point, with your kill gem. And then that's kind of like your last ditch effort to go ahead and up the amount of power that this gem has. So it assumes you're going to do that. You're going to have a farm of black gems at the start, and then you're going to have your mana farm, and then you're going to have your kill gem, kill whatever's coming your way. Okay? That's what they assume. They're also not assuming, but they're encouraging you to go ahead and start the game, get a little bit of mana. Okay. In this instance, 2 billion seems to be plenty, and create a seed gem for two things. First one is your mana farm, and the second one is your kill gem. Okay. Now, these mana farms and kill gems, pretty sure you can ignore all of this stuff that is all about just one gem, because at the end of the day, this gem combiner, it's not just for Gemcraft chasing shadows, it's for Labyrinth, chasing shadows, and not anymore because it doesn't use a grid that holds this many gems. But if it did have the same sort of large grid, this could have also been used in Frostborn Wrath as well, but it's not. So this thing, like I said, it's great for chasing shadows and Labyrinth. That's why it's not Gem Combiner for chasing shadows. But let's be honest, everyone uses this Gem Combiner for chasing shadows because Labyrinth itself is busted, and I've made plenty of videos on how that works. So feel free to check out my channel and look at all of my videos about Labyrinth and how I show you how to get a super fast flying start on it and rip it to shreds. And wonder how people complained about how this game was hard once upon a time. Anyway, back to the script. What you're going to do to get the most out of this is you're going to do exactly what I did before and I just showed you. I created what I call the beginning gem for my mana farm and the beginning gem for my kill farm. Let's call it a farm. Sure, why not? These are not it, by the way. These are just normal gems that I created with the U key just to get things started, okay? But eventually I'll be replacing these with these two gems or variants of them. So you'll find them in the kill spec coefficient amps and mana spec coefficient amps. Okay? Once you've gone ahead and done those, and you've got these two gems, you don't need to use these again. Okay? The only time you need to use these again is if you've gone ahead and used the U key to upgrade your stuff too many times and you feel like you've got the mana and you've got the black gems that you've been farming with before, you've got enough of that to go ahead and start again and make an even more powerful gem than you have now, then that's the only time you would go back to these and create new ones and then upgrade from there. So create these, and then after that, the next step is to go ahead and use one of these two. You've got Kill Combine, which notice how it doesn't say red, yellow, or whatever. It just says kill. This is your kill gem. It doesn't matter what the grade is, so long as this is your kill gem. Use Kill Combine to upgrade your kill gem. And of course, Mana Combine to upgrade your mana gem. Now, these ones here, let me show you something. With the kill spec, you can select all of these formulas up to 2048. Fair enough. Technically, with the kill one, you would select this one because you're not a fool. This is just better value. And with the mana spec, you would just use, because there's no extra special ones, off-brand from the whole 2 to the power of in the cost, you could just go ahead and select this one. So there's your kill gem and your mana farm gem, 1 and 2. Then you would go ahead and use Kill Combine and Mana Combine. Now, don't be fooled. These are different. Don't think they're interchangeable. Again, they are catered for specifically these gems because they have the different components. Those components work differently and they grow differently. And also, you want more black technically in your kill gem than you do in your mana farm gem. Your mana farm gem has more yellow compared to your kill gem that has more. Sorry, this one has more orange in it than this one has yellow in it. Again, it's just because of the way it works and what you actually want from it. Because in this gem, you don't care about what the base damage is for this gem. But in this gem, you do. That's why. That's pretty much generally the reason. So, what you do is afterwards, you go ahead and you look at this list. Let's look at the kill combine first because I've got this here. In fact, let's go ahead and move this out of the grid to make sure I've got plenty of room. Now, I've got a gem. It's my kill gem, and it's in 1A. Kill, perfect, right there. I have all of these options. Now, notice how these numbers for cost go much higher, much higher than the cost for just creating this gem in the first place, what we call the seed kill gem. I can go up to 4,062,424 times because let's be honest, this again is just one of those things where it's taking forever to load it. There we go. This has a better growth rate and is less costly to make than this particular one. So unless you really want to do this, which by the way will take you 1 hour, well, with this delay, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 1 second projected. It could be a little longer or less, but generally about that much. If I had to choose between doing that or doing this and getting better value for my mana and having it take 1 minute and 29 seconds, I'm going to use this. But basically, this is what you would use to select trying to grow. So you would never, ideally, you would never use the U key to upgrade this. You would just keep on taking your main gem or one of your gems in your amplifier, and you would go ahead and select one of these options and grow it via super gemming. So you would keep on super gemming your super gem over and over again. And that's what gives you the ridiculous amount of power that these things can have compared to their normal upgraded counterparts. Now, I'm going to tell you flat out, I don't have the mana for this. This thing costs 4 million times to grow, but I only have, well, I don't have 4 million times the amount of mana that is needed. I have maybe, technically, probably 1.2, not million, it'd be 100, yeah. I'd have about 12,000 times the amount shown on dice. So I can't even do this. Let's see, what's the best thing that I can do with this gem? Oh, perfect. It's about this. Now, I'm going to chicken out here. I'm going to, just in case I run out of mana, because I'm not going to use a calculator to make sure that I have enough mana to pay for this multiplied by that. I'm just going to sort of guess and wing it. And I'm going to go ahead and use this recipe. It's going to take 38 seconds. There's 254 steps in it. It's going to use 19 slots. That's a lot. It's going to grow this thing by 12 grades. It's going to cost 12,497 times more than this, which I'm pretty sure I've got, unless I'm doing a really bad calculation. Yeah, it should be fine. And it's going to grow by that much. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty damn good. What have we got here? So if you use the 6, it grows by that. If you use the 8, it grows by that. I'm pretty sure what this means is this is compared to if you paid the same amount as the cost, but it grows at 144% of, well, the component part grows 144% more, maybe. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to bother guessing. I really should just look up what this number is. I'm not going to try and mislead you. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. Is kill combine? Yep, kill combine. Let's hit the 9, see what happens. Do I have the funds for this? Ooh, maybe I should have done a calculation because this is going to come close. I hope the delay is long enough. Ooh, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting broke. Come on, finish. Whew. just made it. Okay, so what have I done? I have gone ahead and created grade 23 gem. Perfect. This thing costs a lot more. If you look at that upgrade costs a lot more than a normal grade 23 gem. But in terms of component power, this thing, and you're just going to have to take my word for it, this thing is a lot more powerful. A hell of a lot more powerful. In fact, I can do this. See, look at this. Grade 20 gem. Supposed to upgrade it to grade 21 for 40 million. So it should cost me 120 million to upgrade to the next one. But this one's already 1.9 billion to upgrade to the next grade. So you see how the difference in grade to cost starts to blow out a lot when you super gem a lot? That's what happens. So really this is comparable to a normally upgraded grade 27 or 8 gem or something like that. I don't know, grade 26 to 28, somewhere around there. I'm not even going to bother doing a rough calculation. But that's basically what it does. But having said that, like I said, it's going to do less damage, but have much more component power. It's the bomb, basically. So that's just a rough showing of what this can do. And by the way, you would do the same thing for all of your gems in your amplifiers as well. You could just basically go ahead and copy this or duplicate this and make all of these in your amplifiers the same and continue that trait. That strategy, that works well. You can do the same thing for your mana farm gem. I don't have the mana for it now, but if I did, I'd go ahead and upgrade it and so forth. But having said that, that is a compromise. So what you do, the strategy is this. You're going to lay down at the very start lots and lots of these. And you're going to surround them with amplifiers too because you want them to go super fast. I mean, you'll surround them with amplifiers if the game lets you. Yeah, that's not going to happen. What about this? Yep, that happens. All right, lovely. So what you're going to do is, because I haven't really talked about this, and I'm actually a little bit disappointed that it doesn't do this, but black combine, it's kind of like this offers for you a way of combining a black gem or pretty much any gem that has only one color. You can use the black combine to go ahead and super gem it as best as it possibly could be. But having said that, you don't want to have just black gems inside your black gem farm, let's call it. This is where you're going to grow lots of black gems just by having them do lots and lots of hits. No, instead, you're going to find something, and I'm pretty sure it's not supported in here. Yellow black hit farm. Yeah, basically there's something here for creating a gem that actually has. Oh, where's your hit farm then? Kill, mana, orange. I don't know why they have this because it's basically, oh, it's different. Okay, if you wanted to go for orange only, that helps you there. What about yellow amps? Again, if you wanted only yellow in your amps, I don't know why you would, but if you did, then that's what you would do. I don't know. There's a help guide here that you can go ahead and read through. And this gem combiner also comes with text files that have loads of information about how all of these work and what's best to use. I'm 30% sure that technically the best setup is to have a kill gem surrounded by yellow only gems inside the amplifiers that use this yellow amps growth and all of this stuff for super gemming. Apparently that's the best thing to do. And same thing goes for the mana farm. You're supposed to have this super duper 3-color mana farm gem surrounded by only orange gems. But having said that, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure whether or not that's the case. But anyway, it's one of the two. Either you use the same sort of gem that you have here, only with, a super gem or two less in your amplifiers, and you have the main gem in here. Or you do actually have pure gems in your amplifiers only because apparently amplifying the other components isn't really worth it. It's better for you to just go ahead and amplify the component that you really want to amplify, which in the case of the kill gem is yellow, and the case of the kill gem, mana farm gem is, it's here, is orange. So that might be the case, and that might be what they calculated, the authors of this program. They calculated that's the best way to play if you want to really absolutely maximize the potential of your gems. So, keeping that in mind, there is no combine for two components for a black-red gem. I found that if you really want to up the hit tally, what you can do is you can get yourself a black gem and use this here to combine it as best as it possibly could. Pretty sure this is the best. Yep, it is. 8,000 times the cost shown on dice. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and do this. I have the funds for this, don't I? Oh, yeah. 200 million. I've got plenty. Let's go ahead and do this. So let's create a black gem. Actually, what's 8,000 times 8,000? That's like less than 10,000 times 10,000, which is, let's see, 8 zeros. That's 100 million. Okay, yeah, I could do that. So let's say you've got this black gem. Lovely. Looks good. I'm going to go ahead and use the same mono black combination thing. Oh, it wasn't anywhere near the strongest possible. Okay, I forgot to scroll down. Okay, I could have done this. Or could I? No, I couldn't because I don't have enough mana. Yes, I could. 3 million. 3 million times, what's a grade 1? It's like 77. So 200. No, I wouldn't be able to afford it. I'd run out of mana just a little too early. All right, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to just do this, get myself a little bit more mana. Hurry up. There we go. Okay. Only one monster on the field, so there's going to be no lag. The delay is perfect. Let's go ahead and test this. Jeez, this video is getting on in length, isn't it? I'll try and keep this quick. But, oh, what? Give me the mana. Thank you. I'm going to ditch this. I'm going to start again. How long does this take? The best possible black gem combine. Hopefully it's like only a couple of minutes. 54 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay, we're not going to select that for the sake of this video. What's the next one? 8 minutes and 42 seconds. Jeez. Look, some of these take ages. Then again, some of them don't take ages at all. They are actually quite quick. This one, the absolute best you could possibly do. Is it the absolute best? No, the almost absolute best you could do takes 4 hours and 45 minutes with 150 millisecond delay. Whereas the second best, or the best, takes, geez, 1/5 that time. So why would you ever select this? I don't know. Anyway, let's select something that's not going to take literally forever. Does it have to be that one? What's this one? 8 minutes and 4 seconds. No, that's not good. And the rest of these, because they got a star next to them, I know they're going to take a while. Oh, this one's pretty quick. 59 seconds. Okay, it's going to cost a bit, but 46 seconds, 33 seconds, 23 seconds. All right. When does it stop being reasonable? 1 minute 59 seconds, too long. 1 minute 8 seconds. You know what? I'll just do this one. 1 minute 8 seconds again. 59 seconds. Okay. Let's bite the bullet on this one. I'm going to upgrade this. No, I'm not going to hit the. I almost hit the U key out of habit. Don't do that. Okay, select the game, hold the mouse, preferably over the middle of where this gem is. Okay, don't hover it here near the corner because just in case this auto clicker misaligns a little bit, it might actually misclick and stuff up your combine. So just hover the mouse pointer pretty much over the middle as best as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, just sort of in the vicinity. And here we go. And you don't have to keep the mouse there. Remember, this auto clicker is completely detached from the mouse. Think of the auto clicker as like a second mouse that it's not physical and you cannot hold, and it's convincing the operating system that it is a mouse, and it's saying, hey, do this. I mean, technically it's not exactly what's happening, but you know what, for your purposes, just think of it like that. That's about the easiest way I can put it. It's a second mouse and it's doing stuff. Now, don't go clicking your normal mouse. Notice how, look at the mouse cursor. It's still actually going ahead and jiggling around like as if it is clicking. So there you go. And that's done. So I've created a black gem that costs 2.5 million to make. Fair enough. It's grade 14. Looks good. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to muddy it up a little bit with a grade 1 red gem. Just give it a little bit of chain hit. Now this mana farm, this isn't the best mana farm, is it? No, it's not. So this thing can eat it, as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to shove this black gem in here. Okay? But that's not all. I'm going to copy it a bunch of times. I'm going to fill up every single one of these. Now, I find usually about 9 or 10 of these is more or less enough. You shouldn't need more than this. And then I'm going to surround it with amplifiers so that we speed up the shots per second and also we amplify the chain hit length as well so that these black gems, they hit more and they get more hits. Once I'm done with this, there we go. This is our farm, our black gem farm. And then immediately after this, I would ideally have something like, let's say, a slowing gem. Now, this doesn't have to be an elaborate gem. I find the most effective is to do something like this, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so, 6 blue, 2 black, and 1 red. Combine that all together, upgrade it to, I don't know, something like grade 15 is nice. And there we go. Put one down. Ideally, you can have 2 or more amplifiers around it. And this will slow down pretty much everything and capture all of your stuff. Now, it's actually not the best, if I'm going to be honest, because looking at that, the percentage of slow is not high. It's not even close to being high. So what happens if we upgrade it a little? Oh, also, this doesn't have any, hits. So as Bloodbound grows, I mean, technically I could have used Pull Bound because I know that automatically it would have gone ahead and worked out well. What's the pull level? Pull level is 26. Let's see, what's the multiplier for this? 14 as opposed to 1. Yeah, honestly. Let's try this again. Let's just use pull bound. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll get us there straight away, I guarantee you. Let's go ahead and upgrade this to 15. Create 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And look at that. 90% slower. It's got a chain hit length of 380. And it's already doing 26.29 shots per second. And of course, what you're going to do is you're going to get an enhancement on this, beam enhancement, so that it fires even faster. Perfect. So that's your slowing gem. And then finally you have what will be, you can put another slowing gem next to it because why not? And then, oh, we're going to have to destroy these because they're in the way. Because the mana farm is more important than the black thingy farm. Black thingy farm. That's good English. Yeah, that'll have to do. That sucks. Only 4. So naturally, you'd probably find a better place for placement for your mana farm, but you know what? For the sake of illustration, this will do. I've got my mana farm gem here, but of course I'm not happy with that because I've got 550 million mana right now, and this thing costs 157,000 mana. We can do better than that. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to go to my mana combine. Okay, it's in 1A. Perfect. I'm going to find something that make this a lot better. So let's say 157,000. I've got 3 times 150 million, so I can grow this by about 3,000 at most as a cost. I don't have anything 3,000. I've got this, which is 1,912. But having said that, I also want to be able to put this. I want to create 5 of these gems. So 5. I'm going to want to do something like this. So I'm going to select this. Okay, 15 seconds. That's pretty reasonable. Ready, set, go. Perfect. That's going to cost me a little bit. Actually, it's going to cost me quite a bit. And I'm just as I thought, I'm probably only going to be able to create 4 instead of 5, but you know what? 3. Damn. Okay, sure. Only 3 instead of 5, but hey, you can crawl before you walk. This kill gem is kind of perfectly created for now. What sort of damage are we doing here? We're doing a lot. So millions, billions, trillions of damage. So we're up to E to the 12s. Let's get a grade 9 gem. And let's start gem bombing. Basically, this is kind of the setup that these people expect you to be doing. There we go. What's the mana farm doing? Nowhere near that. Honestly, I think I went ridiculously overkill on that, but hey, whatever. Okay, let's see how this goes. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, Castlegate, why didn't you put one of these lovely slowing gems here so that your black gem farm could actually go ahead and become more potent? Honestly, it's becoming potent enough. And also, if I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm not sure the slowing gem would actually make things better for this black gem farm, because either way, right now, look at it, this area is completely saturated with monsters. So no blood, no foul, you know what I mean? And look at that mana just pour in. Mind you, that's with only 2 amplifiers going. There we go. So what I can do is this, and then instead of hitting the U key, I'm just going to keep on super gemming this to the cost that I know I can afford. Let's see, what have we got? We got 33 billion. This thing costs 153 million. So, let's see, 153. So 33, so 153. It's around about just under 7 times for a billion. So let's say 6 times this for a billion because it's 153 and not 150. In fact, it definitely is less than that. So I've got 33 times 6. Let's say for the sake of argument, 30 times 6. Probably even less than that. So that's 180. That's actually not much. So I can only mana combine this. Probably I would only want to do this. Oh, that sucks. Only 64 times. Oh well, whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. Okay, let's combine. I mean, it's not going to take long. Hmm. Now this gem costs what? 10 billion. So there's nothing here, even at the cheapest super gemming. There's nothing here I can do to bring this up any further. Pardon me. So that's the best that can do. Now this, on the other hand, this little kill gem of mine, this can definitely do much better. So what have we got? 1.2 billion. No, 2 billion. 24, so 12. Just shy of being able to do this. So, all right, I'll just do this one instead. Hit the 9 key. Oops. So it helps to actually hit the 9 key after you've selected the program. There we go. Now we have a stronger kill gem. Too easy. Also, these could use a bit of a tune-up. So 15. I don't like how weak this is. 1.2 million and we got 10, pardon me, 10 billion. That's a factor of about 7,000, 8,000, give or take. So what have we got here? But having said that, I want to do that 8 times. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm saying sayonara to these. And this one, 7, 8, so 1,000, roundabouts, preferably less. Perfect, look at this. No, wait a second, we've got to be careful. We were not in the right area. I need the kill combine. What do we have here? Damn. Okay, so I've got this. Do I have any options? Not really. The best option is here, but that's way too expensive. I'd only end up with maybe... what was this cost again? Oh yeah, I'd only end up with like 4 gems if I'm lucky if I select this. Gee, goes up 10 grades. So it brings it up to pretty much this. That's probably a bit powerful. So you know what? All right, I'm going to bite the bullet and instead I'm going to go for that. So at the very least, oh geez, 14 seconds. That's not too bad actually. That way I can completely surround that gem. with amplified gems, and away we go. Meanwhile, take note of the fact, pardon me, that these gems here are making hits just nicely. Look at how many hits we've got. We've got 62,000 hits, 66, 67, 72. Up here we've got 133,000 hits, 47,000, 38, 66. Brilliant. All right, maybe, just maybe we can replace this with a slowing gem. See what happens. Why not? Let's see. Sure. Let's do that. This is still powering these, so brilliant. And I can go ahead and create 8 of these. Yep, got just enough funds for that. I need to hit this. No, not with that one. Increased specials, because there's more than one special that multiplies. Remember, Bloodbound does its extra multiplier to damage as well as specials, which includes leeching. So when you go ahead and hit this, or enhance this mana farm gem with Barrage instead of Beam. With Beam, it's just a straight up 30% increase in shots per second. But remember, there's an in-game limit to how much that is. So eventually, Beam actually doesn't do anything as an enhancement to your gem. So instead, you want to enhance the specials with Barrage. And the bonus is you get a 30% increase in leeching, as well as the 30% increase in Bloodbound, which means it's 30% plus another 30% of that, which is essentially something like 40% increase. So, all in all, not too bad. I like it. Or is it multiplicative? Is it a 90% increase? I don't know. I really should look up probability a little bit more, but anyway, I'll leave that to you. Meanwhile, this is essentially the game that the people who created this kind of expect you to play, because they think, or they probably know, that this is, whoa, this gem is killing way too much stuff. Let's fix that. And let's also get rid of a couple of these so that we minimize its range. Perfect. Yeah, this is what was calculated to be the most efficient way of playing in order to go ahead and get the most powerful gems and go as far as you possibly can in endurance. Something like this. You've got your black gem farm, which is really a black-red gem farm. You're going ahead and growing these, and every now and then, you know what, you would go ahead and put these back in here and combine them. Actually, a little bit of advice. Wait until you've got like something like many billions, or maybe even, you know, mana that's E to the 12 or something, or 13 like that, before you even start making your black and red gem farm, your hit farm, because technically speaking, what I've done here is I've done it a little bit too early, because these gems could have been stronger, but because they're not stronger, they're doing less shots per second, and they're not farming up the hits on the monsters quick enough. So in order to upgrade these, I can't just go ahead and upgrade one and then duplicate it and get rid of all of these, because that would get rid of all the hits. It would wipe them all off. So to be the most efficient, I would have to individually upgrade through gem weaving in the black combined spot. I would have to keep combining each and every one of these, which is a bit of a, it's a bit of a micromanagement hassle, and it's a waste of time. So I recommend you go ahead and get yourself situated with your kill gem and your mana farm gem, being mindful of the fact that you should put your mana farm gem a little bit further back away from where the monsters come in than normally to give yourself room to make a black and red gem farm. Then, once you've got yourself situated and you're making a nice amount of mana, go ahead and make your black gems. Make sure they're maybe grade 20 or 22 or something, and just go nuts with them. What's the multiplier on this? 8.95. Well, there you go. And also, with your mana farm gem, you want to enhance it with barrage, but with every other gem, including your slowing gem and your black and red farm gems, you want to go ahead and enhance those with beam. That's probably the best thing you can do. Just make them, because it's all about hitting, especially for the black and red gems. With the slowing gem, it's just about making sure everything gets hit at least once, and then they're slowed for an obscene amount of seconds, and you're good. With these, you just want them to hit as much as they can, as often as they can. So, go ahead and give these beam. Go ahead and give this barrage. Put this a little bit further back and make it pick off everything that makes it past the mana farm. Don't let anything come through, because by the time you've gone ahead and thrown gem bombs on these things and angered the waves a lot, and you will be angering them a lot, you don't want any of these monsters to be going through, because if they do, you'll find that each monster has an increased banishment cost, which is insanely high. You can actually die from monsters being banished, so you don't want any to banish, especially if they steal all of the orbs in your orbs of presence. Then your banishment cost becomes even higher and it becomes unmanageable, and you will die quickly. So make sure you kill everything that goes past that mana farm. Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat a little bit. But yeah, that is basically, in a very long nutshell. I'm sorry about the length of this video, but I hope I was thorough enough for all of you. This is basically gem weaving explained. My opinion on whether or not it's cheating, which I don't think it is. An example of how to use the GemCombiner and what they were going for and what all of this means. An example of how to use it. And a sort of rough demonstration on how you would go ahead and lay out your game and how you would play it in order to utilize this as best as you can. Now, what you're noticing here is that while I'm super gemming, just one last thing to cap things off, while I'm going ahead and super gemming the kill gem and the mana farm gem, you'll notice that because I don't have the mana to keep on using the best possible combination all the time, let's see, black combine, what is this? Jesus, a 54-minute recipe. 54 minutes to do 21,675 steps. Imagine doing that yourself manually. How long would that take? Thank goodness for this program. Anyway, let's do something a little bit more reasonable. I know that there's a kill combine down here that takes hardly any time at all. Is it kill or is it mana combine? Yeah, kill combine. Look at that. The best kill combine recipe has an insane growth, second highest amount of mana cost to make, but it only takes 1 minute and 29 seconds to make, and is only 597 steps. It uses all 32 slots. How many slots are there? 9 to 36. So it uses almost the entire grid to make. It will increase your gems grade by 20. So whatever you put in here, grow by 20 is pretty good. Point I was trying to make is this. I'm not being the most efficient because I am limited to how much mana I'm making at the time. Now, I could just keep on saving up, or I could keep on going ahead and just making little incremental upgrades by super gemming further for my, kill gem or my, well, most likely my mana gem. But I'm making compromises. I'm not doing the most efficient thing, which is using, you know, things like this particular recipe that's going to take about 9 minutes to do. Or 1 minute and 21 seconds, even better. Look at that, 544 steps. That is awesome. So the mana combine and the kill combine, use those two. They've got the best growth rate. They don't take long to do. They cost a lot, but hey, when you're not doing that, you're not being the most efficient. Therefore, these are not the best super gems you've got. That's what your black and red gem mana farm is for. Did I say mana? No, it's not a mana farm. Your black and red hit gem farm is for. So what you can do is you can sort of progress a little bit, knowing that you're not being as efficient as you could be with these. Why do I keep going to this one? This is a slowing gem. Your mana farm and your hit kill gem. Eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've progressed long enough. I have been very inefficient with my growth rates and so forth. I have been compromising with what I can afford at the time. I've even been, you probably get to a point where you're just upgrading normally because you can't afford to even do the most basic of super gemming, which is the 8 times usually, or I think one of them's a 6 times as well. The cost, you just can't do it, so you'll just be upgrading. Eventually get to a point where you're like, okay, I've got a lot more mana than I used to. I'm going to save up just a little bit. I'm going to ditch this, just get rid of it, exit away. And I'm going to start fresh. So I'm going to make myself another, well, if you didn't duplicate it, I'm going to keep a duplicate of, the base kill gem, or the seed kill gem, and the seed mana farm gem somewhere, just to save myself a little bit of time. Let's say I've ditched the kill gem. I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to go ahead and chuck this in here, and then I'm going to select the correct one, kill combine. I'm going to give it the best possible. Okay. Can I afford this, by the way? 4 million at 5 billion? Are you kidding me? I can't even afford this. I'm broke. But yeah, if I could afford this, I'd go ahead and use this to upgrade it. And then what I would do is I would just take one of these or two of these, and I would I would combine them with this to automatically add the kill count from these two gems, or even just one gem, into this, and straight away, all of a sudden, this gem has its bloodbound component blown up, ridiculously high, and it's effective straight away. It's almost as if you were just upgrading this and making it what it should have been into this, just with a few steps. That's the idea, and it's the same idea with your mana farm gem. Again, I went to here. Why do I keep going here? Your mana farm gem. Eventually, you're just going to get rid of this because you're not being efficient. You're going to start from scratch. You're going to create it. You're going to upgrade it with the best possible growth rates because you've got the mana to do it. You're going to do it once, maybe even twice if you've got that much mana. It's doubtful because that's like, e to the 6 or 7, 4e to the 6 or 7, plus whatever it is you start with. So that's 150. You can see the numbers are getting out of hand. But if you've got that much mana, you be efficient, you upgrade it, get a black gem, and then combine it with this. All of a sudden, it is ridiculously powerful, and you'll find you'll be growing a lot more mana. So that's kind of the style of play that is encouraged by the people who made this program. They expect you to do something like this. They've done the testing themselves, and apparently this is the most efficient way to do it. Okay, I hope that has come through to you nice and clearly enough. This video has gone way too long, so I'm going to end it here. If you like what you've heard in the video, please go ahead and leave a like on the video itself. go ahead and subscribe to my channel and watch all of my other videos. I've done so many videos on this game and Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath and also Labyrinth as well. I've done some videos, a couple of videos I think on the original Gemcraft and also Gemcraft Chapter 0. Not too many videos on those though, but as for the last three Gemcrafts, yeah, plenty of videos, how-tos, strategy guides, general gameplay, and me just showing off on a couple of games where I've got an insane wizard level and I show you how I go ahead and beat endurance on, say, Frostborn Wrath for like the, you know, 50th time. Check it all out if you're an avid Gemcraft player. And I hope you enjoyed playing Gemcraft. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, everyone.